My question for you was, I believe in high school you had a racial discrimination lawsuit,
Yeah.
and you received $50,000 from your school as a result. And you recently claimed that like racism isn't like such a big deal. So are you interested in perhaps giving that money back, or like what's the plan?
So you're not educated about my life, and I'm very happy to educate you. And by the way, the best way to get educated about my life is to purchase my book, where I talked about this in chapter 2.
Honestly, I don't know about it. This is why I don't speak on it.
My gosh, I literally love this outfit because, no, it's okay. I was just saying I love your outfit because literally my son right now loves Peter Pan, and I just bought him the hook. So this is incredible. I love that. Go ahead.
All right, so can you mateys hear me?
Pardon?
Can you mateys hear me?
Yeah.
All right, so my question for you was, I believe in high school you had a racial discrimination lawsuit,
Yeah.
and you received $50,000 from your school as a result of this. And you've recently claimed that like racism isn't like such a big deal. So are you interested in perhaps giving that money back, or like what's the plan there?
So you're not educated about my life, and I'm very happy to educate you. And by the way, the best way to get educated about my life is to purchase my book, where I talked about this in chapter 2. I do just want to tell you that because it's like remarkable to me that I wrote about this extensively in my book, and people always think this is a gotcha. They're like, gotcha, this happened to you in high school. Yeah, it's actually the reason I am conservative is because of this thing that happened to me in high school, which was a race incident that involved a kid that was my best friend, and he, I got a boyfriend, that's the truth.
I heard about this incident, and honestly, I don't know about it. This is why I don't speak on it. It is okay, everyone. If you don't know something, nobody expects you to talk about it. And I don't talk about it. I don't talk about things that I don't know about. And if I do talk about things I don't know about, I tell people. I say I don't know about this. But these are my thoughts. So it's funny how this young student is trying to, get her with this moment dressed as a pirate. I don't understand. Maybe it's Halloween or something. I don't understand the context. But at least research it a little more before you do.
And stopped hanging out with all my friends, as high school girls do. Totally innocent, normal situation. And one night, he obviously had too much to drink and got 3 people who I had never heard of or met to leave really horrific racist messages. Now, I've never once said that racism doesn't exist. That's something that was created by the root, and people keep saying I've said it. Actually, I say the exact opposite. Racism will always exist as long as human beings exist, as human beings are ignorant, right? And that's when you meet somebody that's actually racist, they're just ignorant. It's the people that I'm like, I could never even be offended by you being a racist because I'm going to be so far ahead of you in life. It's ridiculous, right? But going back to the story, this kid used to be my friend. He was upset that I stopped hanging out with him. And unfortunately, one of the people that left these messages happened to be the governor of Connecticut's son. So this turned overnight into a political sensational story. It's my first introduction to the media, my first introduction to the NAACP, who showed up at the front of my school, had never talked to me, but tried to raise money off of real hurt that I was going through. Nobody tried to sit down and actually resolve the situation. Was the kid a racist? Well, obviously not, because we were best friends for years, right? Was he hurt? Yes. Did he say racist things? Yes. That situation, and by the way, the money refund that you're talking about was because while this was a huge news cameras outside event, homeschooled. I had to stay.
So basically what happened is it sounds like from my perspective, she was used as a pawn for some political game when she was younger. They used her situation to push a narrative. And I'm not going to speak too much about that because I don't really know what happened. And I mean, it happened to her, so she could probably be the best source of what happened. But it seems like she was kind of used as a pawn in the game. And I would say this, whoever pushed that narrative, it definitely worked. It definitely worked because you have all these people thinking that the NAACP I don't know if it was them specifically. I'm not even going to say it was them. But I said that because she said that, or anyways, whoever pushed this narrative is, whoever helped you out, you just turned your back on them. You turned your back on the black community because they helped you raise all this money and they had your back, and you just turned around. Whole time, that's not even what happened. What happened was somebody was being racist to her. Her boyfriend got upset. They were being racist, or her friend got upset, and they had their friends comment. Somehow, one of the people who commented happened to be the son of a powerful person. Someone got news of this. This turned into a whole thing, and they found you, and they said, okay, this can help our narrative, which is also wrong, but let's continue.
Home and homeschool and get private tutoring while this was going on until the FBI could trace these phone calls. So if you're stepping to the plate to tell me that that's not right, that, you know, you got reimbursed for being out of school, you're making not a very valid point, I don't think. But the moral of what my lesson was that people are raising money. What I learned from it was people are literally raising money off of racism. The NAACP never wants racism to go away. Okay, they want, because they can fund on finding it everywhere, and they didn't care about the fact that I was a young teenager. I learned a lesson about the media. It's all about selling headlines and selling your story and your point of view, and nobody looked at me or those boys, for matter. One of them was 12 and was being called a racist, and it impacted the rest of that kid's life. Like, I mean, these kids were suicidal, on drugs, plenty of arrests.
A 12-year-old? See, this is stuff that you don't know. I'm thinking it's like 18, 19, 20-year-old young men who just were plotting against her. What I honestly thought before I even heard this story is that she faced discrimination in school. I thought it was a principal or something that was just blatantly racist, or maybe teachers who were blatantly racist. That maybe she went to a predominantly white school, and I thought that the teachers were being racist to her. Don't ask me where I got that story from. That's just what I thought happened. I'm way off. But the thing is, the fact of the matter is, the narrative never changes. The narrative was that she turned her back on the black community, and this is an example of that. Whole time, that did not happen. That never happened. That situation was completely made up, and she's basically talking about it.
Because that's how traumatic it was to have adults rush, and instead of adulting, labeling kids for the rest of their lives without trying to get to the root of the situation. Terrible. So I appreciate the Captain Hook heroic attempt to catch me at my own game. But I am very proud of what I went through in high school, and I thank God for it, because it woke me up to a lot of the things that we're facing today in our society. And thank you so much for your question.
I don't even understand how that question benefited anyone, but maybe you all understand. Maybe you guys get it. But the thing is that what he was saying was, you turned your back. That was the whole premise of his discussion. When honestly, that's never what happened. That didn't happen. And she just touched on it. I'm going to still look up more about this situation because I personally want to know exactly what happened. But the fact of the matter is, majority of people don't know what happened. Majority of people think that she's just some, I don't know. Anyways, let's continue. I catch you on the next one.